Hi! In this chapter, we'll understand everything we need to know about nutrition in animals. You'll notice that this video covers all the points in your book, but in its own words. This will help you understand the chapter better. Let's begin right away. Nutrition in animals. All animals are heterotrophs. They rely on plants and other animals in their surroundings for food. Herbivores such as elephants and zebras consume plants. Carnivores, like lions, feed on other animals. Omnivores such as peacocks and bears eat both plants and animals. Holozoic nutrition. Most animals take food into their bodies and break it down to gain energy. This type of nutrition is known as holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition takes place in 5 steps. 1. Ingestion. 2. Digestion. 3. Absorption. 4. Assimilation. 5. Egestion. Let's understand each of these processes. Ingestion. Ingestion is the process through which an organism takes in food into its body. Different animals ingest food in different ways. Most animals have special organs to take in food. Paramecium is a unicellular organism. It has tiny hair-like structures called cilia covering its body. Cilia move continuously and assist in pushing the food into its oral groove. Hydra is a multicellular organism found in fresh water. It has several finger-like projections known as tentacles surrounding its mouth. Tentacles help in capturing and pushing the prey into its mouth. Frogs, lizards, and chameleons have long, sticky tongues that aid in catching and ingesting their prey. Flamingos, ducks, whales, and sharks are filter feeders. Special structures located inside their beaks, mouths, or gills help them filter out food from the water they take in. Digestion. The food consumed by animals is usually complex. The cells in an animal's body cannot directly absorb or use food in this form. Therefore, they need to break down the complex food into simpler, soluble substances with the help of digestive juices that are produced in the body. The process of transforming complex food into a simpler and soluble form is called digestion. Most animals employ both physical and chemical means to digest food. The process through which the digested food is transferred into the blood so it can be delivered to various parts of the body by the circulatory system is known as absorption. Absorption. Absorption is the process by which the digested food is moved into the bloodstream so it can be carried to different parts of the body by the circulatory system. Assimilation. Assimilation refers to the process in which the absorbed food is used by the body's cells for energy, growth, and development. Egestion. Egestion is the process in which the undigested portion of food is eliminated from the body in the form of feces. Different animals have varied body structures. Thus, the process of nutrition will also vary among them. Nutrition in amoeba. The term amoeba is derived from the Greek word amoebe, which means to change. Similar to most animals, amoeba exhibits the holozoic mode of nutrition. Ingestion. When an amoeba detects food in its environment, it extends finger-like structures known as pseudopodia to surround the food. The pseudopodia merge to create a small chamber called the food vacuole. The food becomes enclosed inside the food vacuole. Digestion. Digestive juices are released into the food vacuole. They break down the enclosed food into simpler, soluble substances. Since digestion occurs within the cell, it is referred to as intracellular digestion. Absorption. The digested food is then taken up from the food vacuole directly into the amoeba cytoplasm. Assimilation. The food that is absorbed is assimilated and utilized by the amoeba for various functions such as growth, repair, and reproduction. Egestion. The food vacuole that contains undigested material joins with the cell membrane to expel the waste out of the cell. Digestion in human beings. Human beings also follow the holozoic mode of nutrition. However, the nutritional process in human beings is significantly more elaborate than in an amoeba. Humans take in food through the mouth. The food that is consumed moves along a long muscular tube that begins at the mouth and continues up to the anus. This tube is known as the alimentary canal or digestive tract. It contains multiple organs through which food travels and gets processed. The alimentary canal, along with its organs and glands, constitutes the digestive system. The organs involved in our digestive system are the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. Digestive glands produce and release digestive juices that contain enzymes. The digestive glands include the salivary glands, pancreas, and liver. The digestion of food happens with the support of chemical compounds called enzymes. Enzymes accelerate the speed of chemical reactions. These enzymes themselves remain unchanged during the course of the reactions. Mouth. The mouth is the initial organ of the alimentary canal. It is also referred to as the buccal cavity or oral cavity. It comprises the teeth, tongue, and the salivary glands. The process of digestion starts in the mouth when we chew our food. The tongue, jaws, and teeth work together to physically break down the food into smaller bits. The salivary glands, located in the mouth, release their digestive secretion known as saliva. Saliva decomposes the starch present in the food and transforms it into sugar. Saliva also keeps the food damp, which makes it easier to swallow. Teeth. Teeth are tough structures that are fixed in individual sockets within the gums, both in the upper and lower jaws. They are coated with a white material known as enamel. The functions of teeth include cutting, chewing, and breaking the food into smaller pieces. A person develops 2 sets of teeth over a lifetime: the temporary teeth, also called milk teeth, and the permanent teeth. The temporary teeth begin to form when a child is about 4 to 6 months old and fall out between the ages of 6 and 10 years. The temporary teeth are then replaced by permanent teeth. There are a total of 32 permanent teeth, 16 in each jaw. These can remain for life, which is why they are referred to as permanent teeth. They may fall out due to an injury, accident, or a tooth infection. Permanent teeth are classified into 4 types: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. 1. Incisors. Incisors are flat, chisel-shaped teeth that are used for cutting and biting food. 2. Canines. Canines are sharp and pointed teeth that help in piercing and tearing food. 3. Premolars. Premolars are used to crush and grind food. 4. Molars. Molars also assist in crushing and grinding the food. Let's quickly have a look at the number of different kinds of milk teeth and permanent teeth we get in a lifetime. As you can see, the number of temporary or milk teeth are 20, and the permanent teeth are 32. Do learn these numbers, as they may be asked in fill-in-the-blanks, true or false, or match the following type of questions. Did you know that the tusks of elephants are actually modified incisors? They are the largest teeth found on Earth. However, elephants do not use them for eating food. Who is an orthodontist? An orthodontist is a specialized dentist who treats issues related to the positioning of teeth and the jaw. Tongue. The tongue is composed entirely of muscles. It can be moved in every direction since only a portion of it is anchored to the lower jaw. It assists us in speaking. Its primary functions are to arrange the ingested food so that it can be properly chewed by the teeth, shape the chewed food into a bolus, and assist in swallowing it. Bolus is a Latin term meaning ball. Taste the food that is ingested. The tongue has taste buds that allow us to recognize sweet, sour, bitter, and salty flavors in different food items. Esophagus. The food we consume travels from the mouth to the stomach through the esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube measuring about 18 to 25 centimeters in length, and it links the mouth with the stomach. It is commonly referred to as the food pipe. The food is propelled towards the stomach by rhythmic, wave-like muscular contractions of the esophagus, which are known as peristalsis or peristaltic movements. Stomach. The stomach is a muscular, sac-like organ. It is the broadest portion of the alimentary canal. It has 2 openings. The upper one connects to the esophagus and the lower one joins with the small intestine. Both openings are regulated by valves that open when food approaches and close after the food has moved through. The stomach gets food that is partially digested in the mouth via the food pipe. The inner lining of the stomach produces mucus, which shields the stomach lining, hydrochloric acid, which destroys harmful microorganisms and creates an acidic environment for efficient digestion, digestive juices, which have an enzyme that breaks down proteins into simpler forms. Food digestion in the stomach takes between 1 to 4 hours, depending on the kind of food consumed. From the stomach, the partly digested food, referred to as chyme, moves into the small intestine. Small intestine. The small intestine is the longest segment of the alimentary canal. It is a coiled tube measuring around 7 meters in length. When food reaches the small intestine, it combines with bile, released by the liver, and pancreatic juice produced by the pancreas. The small intestine also secretes digestive juices, which assist in the complete breakdown of all components of food. The inner lining of the small intestine contains millions of finger-shaped projections known as villi. These villi are richly filled with blood vessels. The digested food is taken up into these blood vessels located within the villi. The villi enhance the surface area for absorption. The nutrients that are absorbed are carried via the bloodstream to different parts of the body, so they can be utilized when needed. The process of using the absorbed nutrients to form cell components is called assimilation. The food that remains undigested and unabsorbed then moves into the large intestine. The liver is a reddish-brown gland found on the upper right side of the abdomen. It produces bile, which is kept in the gallbladder until it is discharged into the small intestine. The bile juice breaks larger fat droplets into smaller ones, thereby helping in the digestion of fats. Pancreas is a cream-colored, leaf-like gland located beneath the stomach. It releases pancreatic juice, which further decomposes carbohydrates, proteins, and fats into simpler forms. Large intestine. The large intestine is around 1.5 meters long. Its role is to absorb water and certain salts from the food that remains undigested and unabsorbed. The semi-solid food left behind is then kept as feces in the rectum, which is the final part of the intestine. Anus. The anus is the end section of the alimentary canal. Its primary task is to remove semi-solid feces from the body. The feces collected in the rectum is expelled from the body through the anus. The act of getting rid of solid waste from the body is termed as egestion. National Protein Day. National Protein Day is celebrated on 27th February. It was launched by the Right to Protein Act, a public health campaign aimed at spreading awareness about sufficient protein intake for maintaining good health. As per the Indian Council of Medical Research, a typical adult should consume between 0.8 grams and 1 gram of protein for every kilogram of body weight daily. A study by the Indian Market Research Bureau disclosed that 73% of urban Indians lack adequate protein in their diet. Digestion in ruminants. A ruminant is a hoofed animal that feeds on plants and brings back its food for rechewing before digesting it in stages. Plant-eating animals like cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, camels, giraffes, and antelopes are classified as ruminants. These animals usually have wide mouths and broad front teeth. Ruminants have a unique stomach made up of 4 compartments: the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. At first, ruminants do not chew the food they take in. Instead, they swallow it directly. The ingested food passes straight into the rumen, which is the largest and first chamber of their stomach. The grass, leaves, and various plant parts that these animals feed on contain cellulose, a kind of carbohydrate. Ruminants are able to digest cellulose due to the presence of cellulose-digesting bacteria and protozoa in the rumen. The partly digested food that collects in the rumen is referred to as cud. This cud is then moved into the reticulum, which is the second chamber of the stomach, and from there, it is returned to the mouth through regurgitation for better chewing. This act of chewing the cud is known as rumination, and animals that follow this process are known as ruminants. After being chewed thoroughly, the cud is swallowed once again and sent into the omasum, the third and smallest chamber of the stomach. Here, the food undergoes further breakdown and the surplus water is absorbed. The fourth and final chamber, the abomasum, is referred to as the true stomach. In this part, gastric juices are released to aid in digestion. Specific enzymes work on the food to complete the digestive process. The fully digested food is then transferred to the small intestine, where the nutrients are absorbed. A large pouch-like organ called the cecum lies between the small and large intestines and contains bacteria that assist in digesting cellulose. Before we end, let's go over some key definitions. Absorption refers to the process where digested food passes into the bloodstream. Alimentary canal is the long, continuous tube that stretches from the mouth to the anus and is also known as the digestive tract. Assimilation means the use of absorbed nutrients for producing energy and supporting growth and development. Digestion is the process that transforms complex food substances into simpler, usable forms. Egestion denotes the process of removing undigested food from the body. Holozoic nutrition is the method of taking in solid food into the body. Ingestion is the act of bringing food into the body via the mouth. Intracellular digestion takes place inside the cell. Oral groove is a cilia-line channel in paramecium that directs food into the mouth. Pseudopodia are cytoplasmic projections resembling fingers that are observed in amoeba. Rumination is the repeated chewing of previously swallowed food. Ruminant describes a hoofed herbivore that brings back its food and digests it in stages. If you found this video useful, feel free to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. At Minecraft, you can expect to see a whole lot of videos that will help you prepare for your exams smarter, faster, and better. See you soon.